Peace and blessings. Peace and blessings. Salam, shalom, hotep. We're going to be talking about selective senses today. I actually want to see if my little contraption will actually hold today, because sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it wants to cooperate, and other times it does not. Peace and blessings, peace and blessings. Let me see if I can, if I can get this. Bam. Selective senses. Selective senses is what we will be discussing today. Whoops, sorry. Didn't mean that. No need for you to be looking at my calendar. You don't need to know what I'm doing. No, let me stop. Peace and blessings. Miss Jasmine is in the house. We're at 7. How is everybody? How is everybody? Selective senses. I've gotten pretty good at turning my senses on and off at will. And you guys have to understand that everybody doesn't use their senses the same way. I am convinced that I see a lot more than the average person. I smell a lot more than the average person. I hear a lot more than the average person. And I definitely feel a lot more than the average person. And I've come to this conclusion by social media and a whole lot of other different avenues that just let me know that I have to obviously be using my senses differently than most people. When I'm in the store, I can turn on and off my hearing. I cannot hear a person sitting 2 inches away from me and hear the conversation 3 feet away. I hear the conversation that's happening right next to me, but I don't care about it. And in not caring about it, my senses don't register it. Which is why learning about mind hacking is so important to your senses. How else does your mind get information? Your mind is in liquid that's encased in skin, that's encased in a bone, that's holding airtight. It's in a vacuum. It is in threefold darkness. The only way for your brain to get information is for it to receive it through your senses. Eyes, ears, nose, touch, hearing, smell, taste, color sensation, temperature sensations, pressure sensations, emotional sensations. These are the only way that your brain knows what's going on the inside through these senses that give it an idea of what's happening as stimulus from the outside. I get on Facebook sometimes and wonder what y'all be reading, because sometimes people get stuff out of posts that I don't even think was in the post. And then I remember that, most people in America are functional retards. Education wasn't all that great. Reading skills aren't all that great. Comprehension and social skills are not up to par. So what make you think people are taking in information and processing it the same way you are? This is why the black movement can't go anywhere. Won't go anywhere as long as we are trying to wait on the collective. The collective don't get it. Peace and blessings, Yasin. The Bens are in the house. Be careful about the crazy people you associate with. Can we please make sure we are dealing with people that are not... And don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. We have a lot of problems in our community that we just refuse to frickin' address. We bear children that have emotional issues. Let's not just say the child is out of control. Your child has fucking emotional issues. There is something not right in the brain chemistry that only drugs can help. Because let's just face it, mama and daddy weren't the best specimens for breeding in the first place. I know. We don't want to admit it. We don't want to admit that we've given birth to inferior children. That somewhere along the way, through stimulus, food, water, drugs, and when I say drugs, I mean vaccinations, high numbers of high levels of antibiotics, high levels of heavy metals. That's what I'm talking about when I say drugs. This affects the human brain. We already know that there are studies that the CDC did in different projects around the country, undercover, unethically, on black folk. I think Chicago was one of them, where they chemically experimented on us for 20 plus years. Then to cover it up, they leveled the whole project. They have 20 years of research, and not just 20 years of research. The children that were being experimented on, their lives started in an experiment. You think the United States government and the CDC aren't following those children, much like they followed the brothers that they gave syphilis to, and their wives and their children? But for some reason, we won't sit down and analyze whether this black person in front of us has mental fucking issues. Our DNA is not so strong and has not been non-infiltrated that we too don't carry symptoms of our oppressor. I mean, after all, you used to not be able to find a black rapist or child molester. Now they run through our community rampantly and with impunity, because grandmama don't want to turn her son in that's been molesting the girls of the family because he all right, it's okay. No, it's not fucking okay. You bred a predator. And you're harboring predators. And you're protecting predators, wondering why our movement can't go anywhere. Well, shit, you fucking off the girls from jump. You fucking off the mothers of the leaders from jump by letting, Uncle Walter in the house. This goes for black mothers too. Because you so damn lonely that you can't keep predators out of your house thinking he love you. Not realizing that when you go to work because he ain't working, he's pretty much raping your daughter or maybe your son. Because yes, black women, your lust is showing. We like to talk about the fact that, we're independent, this, that, and the other. No, you not. You so lonely you let anybody in your house as long as he says he loves you. And, the black woman is God. While he's destroying your Eden. And you won't even listen to your kids. Because he snatched their voice a long time ago because of you. Your decision making. Your lack of discernment. But brothers, you not off the hook either. Because you know these men exist in our community. And yet you do nothing about it. While they rape our boys. Which is a lot more common than we want to talk about. Because men don't like to talk about that shit. There are a lot of brothers in our neighborhoods that have been sexually molested by men and women. You wonder why he can't sexually harmonize with you. Why he has to have so many girlfriends. You ever think he's trying to prove his manhood because something happened in his childhood that made him question it? A lot of these top athletes, in order to get some of these contracts, you got to give a little to get a little. But women know these rules and act like they don't apply to men. Yes, the fuck they do. But as long as we're complacent about it, ain't nothing gonna happen. God don't help a people until they start helping themselves, and we ain't started helping ourselves yet. I mean, as a whole, I started helping myself, which is why God started helping me. But that seems a bit hard. And it seems hard because it takes a little bit of discipline. It takes a little bit of discipline to be able to, 1, stand your ground. 2, to be able to call justice out. 3, to be able to tell the truth when needed. To stand on the side of the truth, whether that shit is popular or not. But until we clean our house out of all the foxes and parasites and demons, until we get our discernment back, because adults are not teaching children discernment because they don't know it. You don't know shit. Most of our leaders are fucking con artists, and we don't even realize that. Still giving them our money. Still giving them our money. Where the school? Where the damn daycare? Where's the bank? Where's the farm? Because these are all things that was promised us by different groups and organizations. that have control of millions of our dollars. Because all you single black mothers that are going to these places trying to seek out husbands that you never find, you giving your money to these organizations, and you could be giving it to your children. You know, your legacy. I mean, as we calculated yesterday on my post, man, $3 a day put away turns into something like $5,000 in 5 years. So if you go into your organization and you're giving at least $3 a goddamn pop, think about that for a minute. When have they invested in you? Because you seem to be throwing your money into a bottomless pit that never helps you. Better yet, I'm asking you to help yourself. I'm asking you to turn all that energy internally and help yourself. Help yourself as much as you help these organizations that never seem to be able to benefit you. And if your organization is benefiting you, I'm not talking about you. And I'm not talking about your organization. I'm talking about the people who are discontent with their organizations that happen to be bottomless fucking pits. Run by setters. What I mean by setters, them people that you bring a program and they just sit on that motherfucker. They sit on it until you get tired of it. They sit on it until you forget about it. And then might turn around and roll out your goddamn program like 6 months later. And you be sitting there like, and then you take it for the team. You take that butt fuck for the team. I ain't mad at you though. Everybody it's a team effort, right? There are no big I's and little U's in the word team. And again, let's get this clear. If your organization is working for you, I am not talking about you or your organization. I am talking about the organizations that people are discontent with, that seem to be bottomless motherfucking pits, that you give thousands of dollars a year to, and you can't even go and ask them for a light bill. Hell, I'm talking about churches too. Ooh. Because Jesus would help you. Jesus might even teach you how to make batteries or some shit. You know, I'm just saying. WWJD. And yes, Malcolm did warn us. Malcolm did a lot of warning. Malcolm is a prototype of what happens when you are a free thinker. Let's just be honest. Malcolm is the perfect hero prototype except for the end, but then he became a messiah instead of that. So yeah, Malcolm's whole story was about resurrection, transformation, accountability, the great I am. And he held all those around him accountable. You know, he's one of my favorites. You know, I keep his picture up in my room, you know, and it's the by any means necessary, because we want to say what we will and won't do. We want to say what we will and will not do for freedom. I will do anything for my freedom. I will get it by any means necessary. And I thank that brother for voicing that. Because for some reason we believe that we can pick and choose how this revolution is going to work. And the only way it's going to work is that each and every individual one of us, black, white, yellow, green, pink, male, female, hermaphrodite, transgender, what the fuck ever, is that we say we will do this. We will do this by any means necessary. After all, the enemy took this bitch by all means necessary. Let me say that again. The enemy took it by all means necessary. As a matter of fact, his philosophy is the means justified, the end justifies the mean. Maybe we've been beaten so much we've forgotten that. But you're not ready to be free until you will get your freedom by any and all means necessary. And that includes training your senses to see things differently. Because you can't make a change until you change your perspective. Until you change how your senses work. Until you change how you relate to your senses. What is sight? What is color? I'll just talk about what color isn't. What color is this? And I'll wait. Type in what color this is. Come on, this is interactive. Type in what color this is. And then I want you to type in what color this is. Type them in. Now, of course, some of you would say that this is blue. Right? You say that this is blue. Blue. Okay. Aqua, blue. Okay, cool. I'll accept that. Turquoise, I'll accept that. Cool. No problems. Yellow. Right? Right? Okay. Now, you say this is blue and you say this is yellow. What if I told you that blue is the only color this is not? And what if I told you that yellow is the only color that this is not? For the simple fact that this is absorbing all colors except blue. That is why you see blue reflected off of it. So it cannot be blue if it is reflecting blue. That means it is every other color except blue. So, the way that you even relate to colors was taught to you wrong. So using that, this is not yellow. This is every color but yellow. The only reason you see yellow is the color that cannot penetrate this particular material on the spectrum. So it is the color that is reflected back to you or is bouncing off. So it is the one color that it is not. So this is not blue. And this is not yellow. See how they even fucked off your sense of color? Brown, right? Supposedly brown, right? What did you just learn? The closest thing to black that can be gotten on the spectrum without it turning black and absorbing everything. Every color but brown. And the closer you are and the paler you are to the white spectrum, you're absorbing so much. That's why you burn so quickly. You're absorbing all. You're absorbing all of the spectrum, which is why you burn so easy. This keeps a lot of the red, yellow, blue spectrums off of us, so we do not burn so easy by accepting particular shades or vibrations that bounce off of us. Why we don't burn so easy. And the darker the skin goes, the less it burns, because it actually doesn't absorb as much radiation as people think it does. It bounces it off, doesn't absorb it. I can't wait to see this teaching by somebody else claiming that it's theirs. I just can't wait. Because you know it's going to happen. The minute you see somebody, one of these other folk, talking about colors and how it's wrong, I want y'all to understand who taught it first. Well, yeah, I haven't heard it talked about yet. So, yes, there is no spoon. It took me the longest to get that parable until somebody told me that I was that parable. I'm like, huh? I didn't get that spoon thing at all. It took me forever. I'm like, I don't get the spoon shit. It's the one goddamn thing in the movie I just didn't get. I'm like, there is no spoon. The fuck are you talking about? The spoon is right there. But, okay, sidebar. My fault. Colors. 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 Using your senses. This is why I'm able to use my senses a little better than other people, because I understand the nature of my senses. I play with my senses. You know, your eyes are the most unreliable sense that you have, because they can be fooled by the hand. Ocular illusions are what they are. Hearing, a little less fallible, because you'll only hear what's there. You know, your ears can only pick up vibrations that are within its range of picking up. Now, some people's range of hearing is a lot higher and lower than most people's, especially if you're a musician. You know, you're trained for tones. So you're aware of them a lot more than other people. But I can feel tone too. You know, my sense of touch is related to tone. I can feel tone. I feel vibrations. I am really, really, really sensitive to vibration. Very sensitive. High ocular tones I can hear. I be in the house like, anybody else hear that shit? Like, no. Like, no, listen, just, there's a sound. But, yeah. Sense of your tidbit about your nose. Your sense of smell is the only smell that is hardwired to your brain, which is why you should be very careful with what goes up into your nose, because things that go into your nose immediately get lodged on your brain. So you should be very, very, very sensitive to what goes in your nose. I read about that on colors, but you helped elaborate on it. I did not put two and two together. Oh, okay. Glad I can help you out on that. Israel. Sarah. Princess Israel. That's cute. I like that. Sarah means princess. So yeah. I'm glad that I could help you put that into the world, so you can correlate that all the way around. Which is also why blonde hair is the thinnest hair. It absorbs so much that it fries itself as well. That's why it's very, very, very thin. So if you see a blonde with a lot of thick hair, that's not a real blonde. They're not real blondes. Real blonde don't come like that. Not in nature. Their hair more is like fairy hair. It's really thin. Really thin. Yeah. You got to be careful about your nose. Be very careful with your nose. Anything that goes up your nose, and think about this, anything that goes up your nose immediately gets lodged in your brain and gets lodged in your throat. So sooner or later, you're going to swallow it. So be very, very, very careful with your nose. Very, very, very careful. Very, very careful. Your ears. Well, talk about ears. Sense of touch. Touch. People wonder why I'm not a hugger. And I'm not a hugger because I understand touch. Touching people is a transfer and a harmony of energies. And a lot of y'all, I just basically don't, I'm good. You got shit on you that I personally don't want to have to process off myself. And anytime you touch somebody, you're harmonizing with their energy. I don't care, even if I close myself off, I still get remnants of it. You know, and sometimes I'm okay. I love Asian tradition for that reason. Can we just bow to each other and be okay? I just don't see the point in all the fucking touchy. I just don't. And again, that's my conditioning from my childhood. And, you know, our house wasn't touchy. So I never got that. You know, and on top of my gifts, I'm good. Cause I can see the icky coming. And I have a right to my space. I have a right to my space, man. A complete right to it. But your sense of touch, your skin is the largest organ you have. It registers all types of stuff. It registers pain. It registers pleasure. It registers temperature. It registers pressure. It registers humidity. It has hair follicles and hair on it to catch the breeze. So you can regulate. The scan is amazing. It is amazing. But that too can be trained. That too can be trained. It is a sense that can be trained. So, be careful about who touches you. I am. And people sometimes get offended. I don't mean to be offensive. It's just that I have a right to my space. I have a right to who touches me. And quite frankly, blame it on my rape. But I control who touch me. Period. Point blank. I have mush-faced people who were coming in for a hug. I mean, straight. No. Not here. We can do handshake, dap, we can bow to each other, But then again, I need y'all to remember, you're dealing our people on a whole. Wait a minute, excuse me. You have me thinking because I'm a very approachable person. Everyone calls me a big teddy bear. So I'm always getting approached with a hug. Man, people are vampires. People are vampires. And they will steal your energy just to make their day better. No, man. Big teddy bear. No. No, that's just an excuse to steal your goodness. I'm sorry. Because they're not giving you anything. So no. I have often heard that touch is the transfer of psychic energy. Sure it is. It's a transfer of a whole lot of different energies, not just psychic. You have psychic, you have kinetic, you have chroma energy, which is color energy. A lot of people don't even think about that shit. I mean, do you think when somebody that's being depressed hugs you, you don't get a little of them blues? They don't call them blues for no reason. When somebody is envious, they turn green. Colors are associated with feelings. And feelings are expressed on the skin and the outer auras. And that emanates from the inside of a person out. People think that happens from outside in. That's something that's happening inside the body out. It's like looking at the sun. That flame isn't happening from the surface. That's being fueled from the inside out. You're just seeing the reaction on the surface from what's happening from the inside. And that's aura. People think it's just some crazy shit that happens, 3 feet away from you. No. That is being emanated from the chakras in the body itself, emanating out. Now, whether those chakras are closed or wide the fuck open, well, that has a lot to do with what the aura looks like. But again, we're talking about senses. And people are like, that's not a sense. Yes, the fuck it is. It's one of your greater defenses that you know nothing about. Nor have you exercised it enough. Because if I don't want you in my presence, you're not going to get within 2.5 feet of me. If I'm in a room and I don't want you in it, you're not coming in. I've demonstrated that more than once up at the shop. If I don't want you in the door and I'm on the inside, you're not going in there. We've watched people hover at the door, not realizing why they won't come in. I knew why. Don't want you in here. Exercise that. Imagine if we could do that on a large scale. to our oppressor. But then you need discipline and time to practice that. And a lot of people don't have the discipline enough to try to practice it. But I'm going to get off here. I think I've gone through the senses. Taste. Taste. Taste is interesting. Taste is interesting because our tongues have so many senses on it that I don't even think a lot of people know how to chew their food to actually taste it. How do you chew your food to actually taste it, Fee? Okay. When you chew your food, do you actually run it across all sides of your mouth, or do you just chew on one side and swallow? Because sweet and sour sit on two different sides of the mouth. Hot palate is in the front. There are all types of palates running across your tongue. You have to move your food around your tongue, then back to chew it. Chew around your tongue, then back to chewing it. This gives your tongue and your palate enough time to register everything that is in the food, so the stomach has enough hydrochloric acid and other enzymes. And let us not forget that your saliva also begins to break down food before it gets to your stomach. Your body is now taking in all of this information, so it knows the hormones it needs to excrete, the acid that it needs to be used, the enzymes that need to be sent to the stomach and intestines to prepare it for this meal. If you're not moving your food around that palate, you're not giving your body the chance to prepare itself properly to digest your food. If you're not looking at your food, if you're not smelling your food, you also inhibit this process of digestion. You don't just eat with your mouth. You eat with your nose, you eat with your eyes, you eat with your ears, you eat with your skin. And I'll prove it. You walk in your grandmama's house and she frying chicken and cooking a cake. As soon as you walk in, your nose betrays you. You go. And as soon as you do that, the smells in the air register on your brain. If you've already had this food, your brain goes through the experience of eating it. It gets lodged in your throat. That means your taste buds sit on the back of your throat as well. So that means they get hit. Now, your brain is experiencing eating this food. So it begins to set up the stomach and the intestines to receive it, and the mouth, because you start watering at the mouth. You ain't seen it, but you smell it. And your body begins to set up for it. You go, mama, big mama. Ooh, that's going to be good. And she go, yeah, baby. And you go in there, you look over her shoulder, you be like, oh, grandmama, you got beans, you got cornbread. Your body is now setting up itself to digest this food. And then you slick, you go in for a piece of cornbread. Pow! She slap your hand a little bit. Stop, that ain't gonna be enough. Mama, not realizing that all that good mama, you're moving the food around your tongue so you can experience all of it. Mama, all right, mama, all right, I'm gonna wait, and then you run out. You do realize it takes your body 15 minutes to set up to digest food, right? The food is going to be ready in like 20 minutes, right? So you're going to be more than right. That's why when you sit down at your grandmama's table, you a little more full than when you sit down at your own table. Because you don't go through that process. Just thought I'd put that out there on the table for y'all. Welcome to UUniversity for those of you who have never been here. It's a whole school that's right here on Facebook. We're over there somewhere in cyberspace. You can find us with UUniversity hashtag. This way you don't have to go through my page, my personal page, and all my craziness to get to these particular lessons. They're all over at UUniversity. Thank you guys for those of you who have gotten your Just Add Water t-shirts. Woohoo! We almost have enough for another garden to go in. Shout out to Lady Bast, who has put together a campaign, the Fees Garden Team t-shirts. I got mine. It's on its way, hopefully. Shout out to her and her people for really helping and buckling down and actually putting out a product that's going to actually help me. I was just dumbfounded by that. Before I even gave the yes, I had already bought mine. I was like, go on with your bad self. I can't be mad at you. Good deal. Love it. Yeah, we got a couple of things coming up on the calendar for you guys who were wondering something that was going on. Tarot class will be on the 17th. So if those of you who would like to go ahead and get in, I believe it's the major arcana that's coming up. So we're doing starting another cycle in the tarot reading. For those of you who have finished your cycle, good for you. Certificates on the way. We have the Who Am I class for UUniversity. And that will be on the 28th. You do have to be a member of UUniversity to experience that class. So for those of you who are not a part of UUniversity, this is a reason to go ahead and be a part. The Who Am I class is going to be about 2.5 hours. So please have time. That is going to start at 9 p.m. on the 28th. The event is up and it's ready to go. This starts the series on who, what, when, where, and how of you. Once you finish that course, nobody will be able to tell you who you are. You'll be telling yourself who, what, when, where, why, and how. And it's 2 snaps and in a circle. You will not be in the closet after that. There are a couple other things coming up that I don't believe I actually put on this calendar, but are on my phone. But there are lots of things on the event calendar for me this month and next month. So please go over to my events and look up and see if there's something that you can come and talk to me about. I will be putting on another natural birth control class, and that will be virtual. That'll also be from UUniversity. That's some good information, especially for my sisters who are killing themselves on birth control. Your daughters are killing themselves on birth control, man. I haven't taken birth control in 22 years. So, and I've only had the 2 children that I wanted. So, hey, the class is informative, is here for you. I'm not quite sure when I'll be putting that on, but that class will be. I didn't even know you guys wanted it until like a couple days ago when somebody said it. So we'll be getting those together. But you know who this is? This is FundiFe. And I always got my ear to the street, my ear to the street, my ear to the street. I will be at our Little Red One Shop today. It's Friday, so there is a Tai Chi class at 6 p.m. for those of you who are getting in on the Tai Chi classes today. 6 p.m. Our Little Red One Shop, 4213 Emancipation, Houston, Texas, 77004. We will be there. Classes are $10. And for those of you who want self-defense, let me know. We can run both classes together at one time. So hit me up. Houston, love y'all. Peace and blessings. Salam, shalom, hotep. Just add water. That's another t-shirt that we're selling. Go get you guys some water. Peace and blessings.